In this video, we will learn how to solve inequalities containing parentheses or fractions. I don't know if you remember the order for solving equations. If you don't, I'm going to show you here. First, we deal with parentheses. Then we remove fractions. From there, we combine like terms. Next, we move anything that is being added or subtracted. Last, we move anything that is being multiplied. You might be asking, what about divided? Well, we don't have to worry about something being divided because in step 2, where we take care of fractions, we take care of division. If you need more examples on solving equations, you can go and watch the videos on solving linear equations. So now we're going to use those steps to solve our inequalities. We start with parentheses. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2x, that will become 6x, and 3 times negative 4, that will be minus 12. And we bring down the rest, so that is plus 4x. Don't lose the inequality. Then we do another parentheses, 4 times 3x, that is 12x. And then 4 times this minus 7, negative 7, that's minus 28. And then we bring down that plus 8. Okay, so then we took care of the parentheses. There are no fractions, so we move on to combining like terms. Now, when it comes to combining like terms, we look at the left side alone and then the right side alone. So on the left side alone, I have these two that are like terms. So 6x plus 4x will be 10x. We bring down that minus 12. Don't lose the inequality. On the right side, I see that I have also like terms, this minus 28 and the positive 8. Different signs, we subtract and keep the sign of the largest, that's minus 20, and then we bring down what's left over, that 12x. Okay, once you've combined like terms that are on the same side, now we need to combine like terms that are opposite side by either adding or subtracting. Because we want the x's on the left side, I'm going to move this x, this 12x, to the left side to join this 10x on the left side. Since 12x is positive, I'm going to subtract 12x from both sides. So 10 minus 12, different signs. We subtract, keep the sign of the largest. That's minus 2x. Minus 12. Bring the inequality. On the right side, 12x minus 12x will go to 0, leaving me with minus 20. Now I have these two like terms. These are numbers. Let's move in by adding or subtracting. So this minus 12 is going to turn into a plus 12. So I add 12 to both sides. And you might be asking, why are you moving the minus 12 and not the minus 20? Well, because the x is on the left side and I want to leave the x alone, I need to move this minus 2 and this minus 12. So since this minus 12 is subtracting and this minus 2 is multiplying, I need to move anything that is being added or subtracted before I move anything that is being multiplied. So then this gets eliminated, leaving me with minus 2x on the left side and minus 20 plus 12. Different signs, we subtract, keep the sign of the largest. That's minus 8. Bring the inequality. We're almost there. Let's recap. We already combined like terms. We just moved anything that was being added or subtracted. Now all we have left is this multiplication. Now we have to be very careful here with this multiplication. It's not until we get to this particular point that we have to make sure to remember that when we multiply or divide by a negative number, we must flip our sign. So let's check here. Now I have this negative 2 being multiplied times x. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. On the left side, this gets eliminated, giving me x only. On the right side, negative 8 divided by negative 2, that would be positive 4. And because I divided by a negative number, I have to flip this inequality, becoming greater than. Let's go graph. This is greater than 4. So I'm going to go to my number line. locate 4, and since I want greater than 4, I shade to the right towards positive infinity. I come back and I notice that this inequality doesn't have the little line underneath it, so then I'm going to use a parenthesis, making our solution from left to right, 4 to infinity. Since we're not included 4, that's a parenthesis, and then infinity also takes parentheses. Let's try one last example. Let's try example 5. Since there are no parentheses here, we'll begin with a fraction. We're just going to multiply every single term by every single different denominator, and this will give the same result as if we had found the LCD. So then the denominators here are 4, 8, and 3. So I'm going to multiply every single of this term by 4, 8, and 3. 4, 8, and 3, and then again 4, 8, and 3. So on the first term, the 4 will get eliminated, leaving you with 3x, don't lose that x, times 8 times 3. Now notice how I only eliminated the 4 and not these 3. Since I'm multiplying by the denominators, all we are doing is eliminating all those denominators. Bring the inequality. On the next one, the 8 will get eliminated, leaving you with that minus 5 and the 4 times the 3. And finally, on the last term, the 3's now get eliminated, leaving me with that positive 2x, don't lose the x, times 4 times 8. We continue on. Let's multiply here. I'm going to multiply 3 times 8 times 3, and that will give me 72. Don't lose the x, bring the inequality. And then I multiply negative 5 times 4 times 3, and that's minus 60. You can use a calculator if you need help. And then I multiply 2 times 4 times 8, and that's going to give me positive 64, and then don't lose the x. The next step, I want to get all those x's on the left side, so I'm going to move this 64x to the left side by subtracting. So I'm going to do minus 64x minus 64x. On the left side, 72 minus 64 will be 8. Bring the x, bring the inequality, bring the minus 60, and then of course the 64 minus 64 will go to 0. One last step, I still don't have my x alone. I have this 8 here. So I'm going to have to divide both sides by 8. And since we are in the multiplication step, I check to make sure that I'm not multiplying or dividing by a negative number, because if that happens, I need to flip the inequality. But I am dividing by a positive 8, so then the inequality will remain the same. So this will give me x on the left side, because 8 divided by 8 will be 1x, or just x. Bring the inequality. Now on the right side, I cannot divide 60 by 8 evenly, but I can simplify both of these by 4. And if I simplify by 4, I get negative 15 over 2. Now I'm going to bring the calculator to help me out here. I want to change this fraction into a decimal just so that I can figure out more or less where it should be in my number line. I do minus 15 divided by 2, and that is negative 7.5. Well, negative 7.5 is between negative 7 and negative 8. So negative 8 is on the left side of negative 7. So right here in the middle, this is going to be negative 7.5 or negative 15 over 2. Once I found my value, I notice that this is greater than or equal to. That means I will be shading to the right of this negative 15 divided by 2 all the way to positive infinity. And because it has the equal sign underneath it, I'm going to use a square bracket. So my solution, reading my number line from left to right, is going to be from negative 15 divided by 2 to infinity. Since we are including that negative 15 divided by 2, I'm going to put a square bracket. And infinity always takes a parenthesis. And this is the solution.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.